The Champions League final moving from St. Petersburg to Paris. It is going to be another home loss over at the Stade de France. It is the 2016 Euro that was won by Portugal against France over at the Stade de France Stadium over at Saint Denis, France in 2016. In 2022, about 6 years later, we see another home team lose the final for the French. 92 days after the announcement of Paris hosting the Champions League final to the day of the actual Champions League final is a time span of 92 days. 3 months and 3 days from today's day to the UEFA Champions League final, the day of this announcement. It is Vlahovic that's Gematria 92. Juventus are up against Villareal right now. It is Villareal that has Gematria of 92. You know who this is going to be a special tribute to? Some 37 years after their first Champions League title in 1985. If you are Juventus, this is going to be a tribute to Frenchman Michel Platini, the scorer of the 1985 Champions League final in the 56th minute, right after a Heysel disaster that saw 39 people murdered. Liverpool fans charged and murdered Juventus fans in 1985. It is 37 years later from 1985. It is Juventus that are going to win the Champions League, to be 3-7 in the final, to be the next team to deal France a loss at the Stade de France over at Saint Denis, France. And this is another reason why Liverpool Football Club having Gematria 92 is going to be significant for this, for Dusan Vlahovic in Juventus to win the Champions League 92 days after today's date. It's because they defeated Liverpool when they won the final over at Brussels, and then Michel Platini scored in the 96th minute of the 1984-85 European Cup. They're actually in minute 58 after 57 prior minutes. The one and only goal scored that day in the 85 final. So Michel Platini is going to head home to France to watch his Juventus win the Champions League. Real Madrid is Gematria 85. Ronaldo came from Real Madrid. Ronaldo is gone right now. Real Madrid was one of the two teams to have won the Champions League over at the Stade de France. So 2000, it was won by Real Madrid over Valencia. And then in 2006, it was won by Barcelona over Arsenal at the Stade de France. 25 years after losing their first final, since losing the final in 1997, is when Juventus will win the Champions League. They lost over at the Olympiastadion in Munich, Germany in 97. It is Monaco that is Munich in Italian. 25 years after losing that 97 final, Juventus will win again. Monaco is Gematria 25, Arsenal is Gematria 25, Barca is Gematria 25, 25 prior years without winning the Champions League. Barcelona and Arsenal, the last two teams to face off in the final over at Saint Denis in the UEFA Champions League in a 26-year 2006, which is going to be a clue that Juventus is going to win the Champions League 26 years later. And I do believe that Allegri, sitting at 34 wins, will win his 38th Champions League match with Juventus in the Champions League final when it's all said and done, ever since losing at Germany, at Berlin, and ever since losing at Cardiff. And Allegri right now is at 60 Champions League matches managed with Juventus right now. He's managed 36 group matches. He's managed 2 runs to the final, 1 round of 16 exit, 2 quarterfinals exits. So Allegri right now, entering the knockouts of this Champions League, is at 60 knockout matches. He lost the final at Berlin in 2015 during that season with Juventus, the runner-up to Barcelona. And he also lost in 2017 over at Wales, over at Cardiff. So Wales having Gematria 60, Berlin having Gematria 60, owner Agnelli having Gematria 60. Here's what's interesting about the 1985 final at Brussels, Belgium. Paris, they began their Champions League over at Belgium, over at Brussels against Club Brugge. It's Brugge that has Gematria of 60. So you definitely see a connection with the Heysel disaster over at Brussels, and Paris's Champions League beginning at Brussels, and Juventus win the Champions League to be 3-7 in the final 37 years later. And when we talk about Michel Platini with Juventus, when he won the UEFA Champions League that year, or actually in his career, he's had 36 matches in Europe with Juventus in total for his career. And so when he won the Champions League, that was his 26th European goal with Juventus. This is a clue that they're going to win the Champions League 26 years later over at France. Keep in mind, Messi's first Champions League title came at France. Granted, he didn't play, but it was 2006 over at Stade de France, Messi's first title. This same stadium is going to be Messi's first loss in the Champions League final. That's the key caveat. The light one, Mathis de Ligt. The light one, PSG, founded August the 12th of 1970. A 19-1-day numerology. Messi's a 19-1 life path in numerology. Mathis de Ligt is also born on the day that PSG was founded, August the 12th of 1999. 12 is 3, August is 8, 1999 is 28, 10-1, 12-3 life path. The final is on May the 28th, which is 10-1 of 2022, which is 6, which is a 12-3 day numerology. De Ligt is going to help Juventus win the Champions League, to help Italy win the Champions League again. 12 years later, from Massimiliano Allegri's 12th trophy with Juventus after failing to win Supercoppa, Coppa Italia, and Italian Serie A. De Ligt was missing. The last time Juventus traveled to France was against Lyon, where they allowed a goal in the 31st minute. The amount of time from that match against Lyon, February 26th of 2020, the last time they were at France. Once I make it over there. Well, first off, it'd be 94 weeks ever since Juventus last lost to a French team in the Champions League. That was August the 7th of 2020. August 7th of 2020 is a 19-day numerology. It is PSG that was founded on a 19-day. They could be the next team to defeat Juventus. It is 21 months and 21 days after losing to Lyon. 94 weeks later is when Juventus wins the UEFA Champions League. Because in the Gematria calculator, in the Gematrinator, it is Amsterdam, where Ajax are from, the team that Juventus defeated in the 96 final. Real Madrid, Club de Football, Juventus' last Champions League final appearance over at Cardiff, right? In Marseille, now, doesn't mean Paris is going to win. Marseille has Gematria 94, but they're playing to win the Champions League for the first time for France Ligue 1 since 1993. When we go to the list of UEFA Champions League finals, 1993, Olympique Lyonnais, or not Lyonnais, but Olympique Marseille won in 1993 over at the Olympiastadion in Munich, Germany. But the key caveat here is that it actually has to do with Mbappe's knockout record with PSG. Because when you go over, Mbappe joined PSG in 2017-2018. So Mbappe 0-1, 0-2, 3-2 after losing in Munich because Munich's Gematria 32. Okay. Let me just count this correctly. So 17-18, that's 0-2. That's 3-3 after losing the Munchen FC Gematria 33. So Mbappe is 5-4 in the knockouts as it stands right now. Mbappe is going to be 8-5 in the knockouts after he loses the Champions League final with Paris Saint-Germain as a tribute to the 1985 final that Juventus won after the Heysel disaster against Liverpool. Exactly 37 years beforehand. And then the Mbappe to Real Madrid questions can happen again. So Mbappe's knockout record is going to be 8-5 after losing to Juventus, who won their first title in the year 85. And remember, Man City was the loser of last year's Champions League, so Mbappe's going to lose again in the Champions League final. Allegri's knockout record, 8-5 knockout tie record with Juventus entering the Villareal tie. This is where we get Paris Saint-Germain into the equation. Allegri would be 11-5 entering the final. Inter Milan, last Italian team to win the Champions League. Brussels, where Juventus defeated Liverpool when the Heysel disaster happened, when Frenchman Platini scored the goal. It is Allegri that's going to be 12-5 knockout record on a 12-3 day numerology to win his 12th knockout tie against Kylian Mbappe and manager Mauricio Pochettino. Now, the former Tottenham manager he will defeat to have a 12-5 knockout record with Juventus, because Dybala, his 67th minute goal is a tribute to the Champions League title in the 67th Champions League. This was the last time he defeated Pochettino on March the 7th, 3-7. He's going to be 3-7 in the final when he defeats Pochettino again. So in the calculator, once we compute this, it is March the 7th of 2018 when the Juventus defeated Pochettino and Tottenham. And 51 months later, 4 years, 2 months later, 4 years, 3 months later, Allegri defeats PSG and the GOAT, Lionel Messi. Because it's GOAT that has Gematria 43. And also Old Lady. The Old Lady has Gematria 43 and 106. So the final against Portugal, and Portugal defeated France at home at St. Denis at Paris. This would happen just over 70 months before Juventus wins the Champions League again, because the Stadio Olimpico is where they won their last title, having Gematria of 70, and they defeat the greatest of all time, Lionel Messi. And Juventus winning the Champions League is going to be a tribute to the coronavirus, winning 26 years later after what happened with Wuhan being transmitted over to Italy in the 67th Champions League. So that's how the loss to Portugal connects with Juventus winning at France just over 70 months later. This be 3 months and 3 days from today's day to the Champions League final. In Gematria, it is Berlin. Allegri's first final. Juventus FC. Adrian Rabiot, number 25. Former PSG player Adrian Rabiot with Juventus. These are the storylines. Rabiot is going to be playing in this final. It is Munchen, who PSG lost in 2020. Munchen, Gematria 33. Belgium, where Juventus won the final in 1985, 37 years prior. It is St. Denis that is hosting the final right after a potential world war happening in the East. World War, having Gematria 114 and 42. Now, Paris in Italian has Gematria 60. Allegri's first finals with Juventus over at Berlin in Wales at 60 Champions League matches entering the knockouts. This is how we know at 60 Champions League matches before the draw, before the tie against Villareal, that he's going to end up defeating Paris in the final. Paris in Italian Gematria. Now, when we include the end day, It's 13 weeks and 2 days. 13 weeks and 2 days gives us the gematria of Lionel Messi. And until the end, also the gematria of Juventus. Juventus is gematria of 132. So 13 weeks and 2 days later, Juventus won the Champions League, including the end day. It is the conflict at Ukraine that is the reason why this game is being moved. Ukraine, France, and Italian having gematria of 34. Take a look at Juventus win over at Zenit St. Petersburg, over at Russia, on October the 20th of 2021. That is a time span of 7 weeks, 7 months, and 9 weeks later, literally, from winning the Champions League. Literally, the site is being moved from Ukraine. 3 months and 4 days, including the end day. 7 months and 9 days, Juventus win the Champions League after winning at St. Petersburg, the original site. Juventus is 2-7 in the final right now. Juventus with Allegri, 2 goals scored, 7 allowed. 2-7 in the final. Paris' gematria is 27. Vlahovic is from Serbia. It's Platini. It's Belgrade that have gematria 36. Belgrade is where Vlahovic is born at. And again, when we talk about Mikel Platini, he had 36 European appearances with Juventus when it's all said and done. His 26th Champions League match was the final with Juventus for his 82nd goal, for his 29th goal of that season. Juventus win the Champions League again over at France. France having gematria 29. And plus, it'd be 29 years since France won the Champions League in 1993. Messiah, the Heysel disaster. Gladbach, where Denis Zakaria came from. Bayern, Paris' last Champions League appearance. Rabiot, the former PSG player. France having gematria 29. Federico Chiesa, Federico Bernardeschi. It's Federico that also has gematria of 29. That doesn't have 29, excuse me. But that's the significance of this year's Champions League final being the 30th edition of the Champions League, since it was renamed from the European Cup. It's not going to happen 29 years later for France. It's not. It's going to happen 30 years later. The Messiah, El Messias, with the double S, and Messi. Bologna, whose Juventus defeated in the last week of last season to qualify for the Champions League. Inter, the last Italian team to win the Champions League. Verona, who Juventus defeated to qualify for the Champions League. Verona, who Vlahovic played in his first game with Juventus. De Ligt, gematria of 30. That is what the gematria of Porto represents. Last year's host. Juventus lost to Porto last year. It's Porto that has gematria 30. Next year's final does not see Messi ending the drought for France until 30 years later. That's exactly what that represents. So 21 months and 21 days. Ever since losing to Lyon is when Juventus defeat Lyon. And they enter the Champions League final with 21 knockout tie wins ever since last winning the final. It is the 2016 Euro Final. 7, 9, 16, 10 is 17. 17 8-day numerology. France will be 1-7 in the final when they lose again over at the Stadio de France. Juventus wins the Champions League 26 years later after the match got moved to a new venue. After Putin's invasion. Putin, gematria 26. Chelsea, the defending Champions League winners. Russian owner. The light one, Matis de Ligt, went missing. He had a cut to the head during Juventus' last trip to France. He was out of the game because he had to get stitched up. Lyon scored a goal. He had a cut to the head after colliding with Alexandro. And then they score a goal in the 31st minute after 30 minutes. The Stade de France opened in 1998, 24 years ago. Juventus, the final got moved from Russia. Its last title at Rome to win 4-2 on penalties. Ajax lost 2-4 on penalties. Remember, PSG, Parigi, World War, St. Denis, having Gematria 42. So when I type in war, when I type in PSG, that's exactly what we get. "120 days from Vlahovic's birthday to the Champions League final ever since Juventus defeated Ajax, who were from the Netherlands, as Gematria of 120. The day that Manchester City defeated Barcelona, their only Champions League loss this year, 26 weeks before Juventus win the Champions League again 26 years later. 185 days, that's 6 months and 4 days until the Champions League final when they lose in the Champions League again. Juventus Football Club in Manchester City have Gematria 64. So that's what the 94 is all about. Real Madrid won the Champions League over at that stadium in 2000. Amsterdam having Gematria 94, where Ajax are from. Paris Saint-Germain FC, Gematria 94. Ninety-four weeks later from that time. "94 weeks after losing to Lyon, Juventus denied Marseille its first Champions League title. They denied the country of France their first Champions League title since defeating Marseille in 1993. They're just going to have to wait a little bit more. Because 106 weeks later is when Messi does win the Champions League on 10-6. Because that's the Gematria of the old lady. That is the Gematria of Messi taking his crown after he wins the World Cup. So Lionel Messi's team, 2 goals, 1 allowed over at the Stadio de France in the Champions League final. They're going to have 2 goals scored and 2 conceded after Italy scores the first goal of the match, because Allegri at that point would have 3 goals scored and 7 conceded. So Juventus will definitely score the first goal. La Joya is a good bet. Vlahovic is a good bet. You name it. Chile was also the last time Messi lost the final, so the significance of Chile in relation to losing the Champions League to Juventus to be 3-7 and not winning the Champions League until they win at Turkey, it makes this a really significant connection. So yep, just a little over 24 months later, after losing, just a little over, that's 2022. I had the wrong date in there. So the correct time duration, 54 weeks until the Champions League final in 2023, until Messi does win. Because once again, it is the Serbian that's going to take over. The guy born at Belgrade, Dusan Vlahovic. Forza Juventus. 54 weeks before Messi does win the Champions League. 1 year, 13 days. 1 year, 14 days. Having the gematria of Saint Denis in World War. It'd be PSG's 113th Champions League match with the Qatari owners if they don't win until next year. Okay, March the 7th of 2018, when Allegri last defeated Mauricio Pochettino, to 2022. 51 months later, remember, Stade de France, 51 weeks later, or 5 years and a month later, I should say, the 51st month ever since then. This sort of mirrors May the 22nd a little bit. 51 months later is when Allegri defeats Pochettino again. Lionel Messi until the end, Stade de France. That's also, 51 is also the gematria of Juventus' last Champions League title at Rome. Also the gematria of the Hotspur having gematria of 51. They meet again 51 months later. Ever since the meeting at the Stadio Di Wembley in the 67th edition of the Champions League Final. 67th minute, Juventus won the Champions League in the 67th edition of the Champions League. This is a 21 3-day numerology. Juventus are at 21 knockout wins since last winning the title when they win the Champions League again. Son scores in the 39th minute. The Heysel disaster. 39 people died, I think it is. The stadium was built 1995, which is 6, and then 8, and then that's a 13 4-day numerology. So Italy's 13th Champions League title is going to happen at a stadium that was built on a 13 4-day. Let's see, it was opened, I don't know, 11-day numerology. Messi, 6-6 in the knockouts to wrap up his time with Barcelona, is going to be 9-7 in the knockouts right after he loses the final, because we are champions of Europe and Italian is gematria of 97. Amsterdam Football Club Ajax is gematria of 97. 9-7 in the knockouts. Lionel Messi, ever since his last title, when he loses to Juventus, and Matis Delic, the player from Ajax who got the cut to the head. Amsterdam Football Club Ajax. Its first title since defeating Ajax. Juventus, their first Champions League title since defeating Ajax. That's why Messi's going to be 9-7. Simply enough. Simple enough. Also keep in mind that it's Russian Federation that has gematria of 81. The same gematria as Platini. The significance of Platini having gematria of 81 has to do with the fact that the 2006 UEFA Champions League final, Barcelona took the lead with a goal in the 81st minute of that final. The 81st minute. Italy wins the Champions League 22 years after the first final at the Stade de France in the year 2000, with Valencia the losing team of that final. We can see Messi become the next loser of the final at the Stade de France. Wenger lost the Champions League final. The next winner at Stade de France is going to win the Champions League 26 years later. We're talking about Juventus. Valencia and Lyon would lose the Champions League over there in the 30th edition of the Champions League. It is ever since it was renamed from the European Cup. It is Juventus that's going to win the first time since Inter with Porto hosting last year. In France, they have to wait 30 years. The first final ended 3-0. The last time Juventus defeated PSG in a major trophy was the year 97. That's how we know Messi's going to be 9-7 in the knockout since his last victory. 2-9. Juventus 9, PSG 2. 92 days after Paris was announced as the host. 92 days later, Vlahovic is going to win. There's no doubt about it. 29 years without winning the Champions League until 2023. Paris will have to wait. January 15th, 1-15, Allegri's 11-5 in the knockouts. 1997, 26 year. 15-6 day in numerology, January 15. The Juventus winning the Champions League 37 years after the Heysel disaster. Messias with a double S is Jumanji of 85 and 22. The 37th minute goal again, that 37, that 3-7 in the final. Let's see, May 17th of 2006. So, that's 193 months later. Messi is over at St. Denis again. Paris Saint-Germain is Gematria of 193. Lionel Andres Messi, Gematria of 76 and 193. 76-minute goal by Eto'o to tie the game. Samuel Eto'o won the Champions League with Inter. Eto'o having Gematria 55, the 51st Champions League. So interesting interconnection. Belletti was the goal scorer in the 81st minute. Russian Federation Gematria of 81 was the original host this year. And long and behold, Belletti has Gematria of Madrid, Juventus last final in 2017. Messi's going to be 3-1 in the knockouts with PSG. Messi's going to remain at 30 Champions League knockout victories. He's going to lose his 13th Champions League knockout appearance to Juve. See the date numerology of May 29th of 1985, which is 23-5. That's 21-3 numerology. So when Juventus are in the final again, that's they're going to be at 21 knockout wins ever since last winning the title. Brussels, Belgium. And Amsterdam Ajax Football Club or something like that. Bottom line, folks, Paris is going to lose the Champions League final. It absolutely is going to happen. Don't doubt it. It is going to happen. There's no doubt about it. They're going to have to wait another year, Lionel Messi. This is the reality. Juventus are going to win the Champions League. There's no doubt about it. Get ready for a curveball this year. This is going to be just like 2016 all over again when Portugal won. The history is repeating itself.